All right. Test, test,
Test.
test, test.
So Netflix, we've talked previously about streaming services getting into live shows. So certainly we talked previously about Peacock streaming an NFL playoff game earlier this year. Netflix, I think they showed, was it one of the award shows? Was it I can't remember what it was now. It was one of the award shows they did. And Netflix again is going to have another live streaming sports special July 20th at AT&T Stadium, Nick, so where the Cowboys play. Jake Paul is going to box Mike Tyson. This is just it seems to be part of your Netflix subscription.
Good, because
right?
I wouldn't pay for it, but I'd like to see it.
Right.
Right.
I might have some beers and stuff over here, and have a bunch of people over. That's going to be entertaining.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So with that, we're getting into our Ask an Idiot question here. So, I mean, you can certainly talk about if you're interested in the event too, but boxing has, in my time now, Mike Tyson was a big part of a big night of boxing when I was younger. So when I was a teenager, I recall, boxing, used to be a pretty, easily accessible thing, like on, Wide World of Sports or something like that. Then it moved over to HBO, would have different boxing events, and then they went to pay-per-view. So I was one of the first sports that had, a pay-per-view event, before like wrestling and different things got into it. But I remember watching like Sugar Ray Leonard versus Marvelous Marvin Hagler, and that was a huge thing. And then Mike Tyson came along, and that was a whole other level. I mean, you wanted to pay money to see Mike Tyson just beat the crap out of somebody within probably 30 to 45 seconds typically, but he was just a force to see. So just the name alone, Mike Tyson's going to fight. I mean, the guy's, hell, I think he's around my age, if not, maybe a little bit old. He's in his 50s for sure. All right.
Yeah.
So,
yep.
But still, still looks good. Not a man I would remotely challenge anything, physically at all. So, so just, does an event like this, I mean, is there any type of hope that it resurrects any interest in boxing? Boxing itself was certainly, they kind of did it to themselves, I think, with too much pay-per-view, and then MMA came along and really kind of overtook boxing as far as a television viewership. I don't know if there's really much boxing at all. So does something like this maybe resurrect some interest in boxing? And then if you want to comment on the event itself, feel free to do so. So Nick, why don't we start with you? Do you care about boxing? Do you care about any of this stuff here? Or is it just like, I'm just interested to see this particular event and, whatever?
Yeah, I don't care about boxing. I didn't grow up with it or anything like that. It was like nobody, I didn't know a single person who ever watched it. But I always had the idea of what boxing was. And I can say that any boxing match I have ever seen is so much more boring than it's ever portrayed. Like, there's so little action in any boxing match like I've ever seen until it seems
Kind
like
of
it's rare that
like
there's
a night
even,
alone with Brian.
that there's even like a knockout or anything. Like, it was like, a couple decent like shots to the head, and like, I understand there's a lot of strategy into it. That goes in that I don't understand. The way they move and certain tells and things like that. I understand there's a lot going on with the athletes themselves, and I respect that. But as a spectator and someone who did not grow up with it necessarily, when I have consumed a boxing match, I'm always massively disappointed in it. Other than, like I said, it's like watching baseball to me, is to where like it's a lot of sitting and waiting until finally you hear that crack of the bat and something happens. But that might be the only time it ever happens. And like, it's just kind of like, there's a lot of like, it might happen, but it also might not, kind of thing. So it's, but when the celebrity aspect is brought into it, like I watched, what was it? McGregor and
Mayweather.
Floyd Mayweather. Yeah, that was
that's right.
fun
Yeah.
to watch because of the build-up and the celebrity aspect to it. So for that reason right there, like, and also the age factor, like to see someone who is currently boxing versus potentially, you know, arguably is certainly one of the greatest of all time to ever do it, although now a much older man. That storyline is very compelling, and I absolutely will watch it. Like I said, I wouldn't pay like more extra than my, you know, Netflix subscription, but if it's already
Mhm.
included in what I'm already paying for, I will absolutely watch it. And to watch it live is something that I miss personally, like from events like that. Even though I didn't grow up with boxing and MMA wasn't, you know, a big thing back then, my household was big wrestling fans and pay-per-view WWF like Sunday nights. You know, those were incredible. Those were everything. We'd have parties, we'd have pizza and beer. My dad's friends would come over and we'd all sit around and watch it. And
Yeah.
I mean, experience it again. It was like the Super Bowl once a month in my house. Like it was just like those WWF pay-per-views were everything. So to have something like that is fun. It's a reason to gather. It's a reason to get together and do stuff. But yeah, I'm not a boxing fan, but just for the draw of it, you know, just to make a big thing of it, the event of it all would be fun, and I would definitely interested in watching this one.
Okay.
So, Dean,
All right. Of course, I want to see it. Boxing. When I was younger, like Brian, I boxing was a lot more prevalent, a lot more important. In my household, my dad boxed when he was younger, Golden Gloves type situation. Type situation. It was boxed in Golden Gloves. So I grew up on that. I grew up on watching old Muhammad Ali tapes. I watched, you know, like Brian said, the HBO specials and then the pay-per-views. Mike Tyson was a force. You're not going to get to see that force, unfortunately, coming up because, like all of these Paul brothers fights, I think they're more exhibition than competition. They're really hitting each other. I'm not saying that they're not, but I believe that there's an understanding that this should go all whatever many rounds.
it's the payday for both guys. Yeah,
Correct. And I think it's understood by both parties, and I think it will be this too. I believe that even at 50 years old, Mike Tyson still has the skills and the power to knock him out, but he won't because he's a businessman, especially at this age. He understands what's going on. He understands the whole situation. And Jake Paul is he's a hell of an athlete, but watch him in the ring. He's not a fighter. He's a good athlete, but he's not what you would, you know, some of these professional boxers, which he's gone up against, but again, not in full 100% going at it competition. I'm fighting for this belt. That's not what it is. Again, could be just my stance on it. I could be wrong. Maybe they are fighting and then they all just, for some reason, look weak when they get out there to fight Jake Paul and everybody's scared. I don't know. But this fight sure as hell will be entertaining. I would love for Jake Paul to slip a real stiff jab in Tyson's face and piss him off, and Tyson forgets that this is, you know, supposed to be kind of fun, and Tyson just destroys him and just fucks him up. So yeah, party at my house, guys. We're gonna watch it.
And that's why we watch. See, that's why you watch. You just never know what's going to happen.
That's right. You can bite an ear off and punch him in the dick. Who knows?
Yeah, boy. Mike Tyson, brother, is 57 years of age. 57.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Hey, you should go to Mike
I
Tyson and see if he'll bite that skin tab off your ass.
Ooh, that's a good idea. I like this.
There you go. Yeah, for this, I'm with you guys. I'm interested. If it was just two boxers I'm not that familiar with, then I don't know. But it is free on Netflix, so at least that does help.
Right.
And the fact that again, it's like you guys, it's Mike Tyson. It's a novel, and just again, just all the years watching him. That alone. I mean, obviously that's what they're doing. They're smart enough to get a name out there to
Right.
try this out. Now,
And they got to build up this live platform with WWE's coming in
2025,
January.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, January 1st or whatever that Monday is in January.
I mean, I hope it's successful. I mean, it was something where I know we talked in a previous episode or two ago about the Super Bowl. Like, why is the Super Bowl so popular? And one thing Dean pointed out is that there's not a whole lot of exciting appointment television left.
This
so
will be it.
They're trying to find something like that, obviously, to other things, not to compete with the Super Bowl ratings, of course, but just to get people to sit down and enjoy appointment television like the old times, pay for your relatively inexpensive subscription to Netflix. Yeah, I think they're smart to try and see, like you say, what happens, So,
and they do a golf event as well, didn't they? Didn't they try some?
Yeah, didn't they? It was like Tiger Woods, and I think it's going to be an annual thing as well.
Okay,
like 3 not celebrity, but like big time golfers doing like a kind of a weird competition thing.
Yeah, good for them. And if it was something where they were charging, $10 to watch it, probably wouldn't do it, to be honest with you. Unless they're doing like a group event or something like that. Okay, but I'm not going to sit home for $10 and watch something like that on my own. But I will maybe flip it on with my normal subscription. So we'll see. Just like anything else, a lot of companies are going to be watching something like this. All these streaming services are going to keep trying to figure out how to draw in subscribers and their own content and libraries and stuff. As we know, it's only going to go so far. They're going to have to continue to try to find something unique like this to bring in viewership. So we'll see.
Yeah,
we'll see what happens. Gen X Brian here. It's Neil Dean, Millennial Nick. If you like our stuff, give us a like and subscribe, and we may just send you a Polaroid of Millennial Nick's feet.